I tried to be like you. I did a big action movie called The Incredible Hulk. You know what went wrong? I wanted a better script. I thought maybe we should try to make one Marvel movie that was at least as good as the worst Chris Nolan movie, but what the hell was I thinking?
Holy F, that was so boring. Why don't we have a new one? What was that effing intro? Snooze fest! Imagine going to the theater to watch Iron Man when it first came out, and then going back to watch this a month later. LMAO. What a disappointment that must have been. What Hulk smashed most? Hulk smashed all hope of interesting time in cinema. Okay, Peter, sure. All of these reviews, they have one thing in common. They disgust me. They make me sick. This makes me sick. The fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than The Incredible Hulk makes me want to throw up. But it's nothing new. My whole life I've felt like an outcast. No one I've met has been able to understand me. Understand the person I am. Or the world from my point of view, because no one I have ever met has liked this movie. Everyone I've met in my whole life has told me that they hate this movie, that it's garbage, the CGI is bad, the acting is bad, it's boring. But I've always known the truth. Ever since I was a young boy, I knew this movie was amazing. To give some background, I've been a pretty big Hulk fan basically my entire life. I would always pick a Hulk movie over an Iron Man, or a Captain America, or a Thor. Really, the only Marvel character I liked more than Hulk was Spider-Man, and that's because he had twice the amount of movies. And I never really cared for the Ang Lee Hulk. To be honest, I don't think I've ever even seen it. But this movie was always at the top of my list when someone asked me what my favorite Marvel movie was. And yeah, as I've grown, I've realized that there's probably some better Marvel movies than this that are actually, like, you know, good. And if I'm being honest, it's actually been quite a few years since I've watched this movie. So today, I'm gonna dive back in and see if The Incredible Hulk is truly an underrated masterpiece. So right off the bat, my feelings are validated when we get this amazing opening sequence. Quickly going over how Bruce Banner did some gamma experiments on himself and became a giant monster, and now the government is after him. It's quick, it's fun, it's really cool to look at, and it works as a fun nod to the 70s show. This is like the only opening credit sequence I can think of in a Marvel movie that's like actually cool. Again, other than Spider-Man. And after that awesome intro, we see that Bruce Banner, in an attempt to keep himself calm, goes to fucking Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, which might possibly be the most stressful environment he could pick to live in. And he works at a fucking soda factory. Like, this is not a good way to keep yourself out of stressful situations. But honestly, I like this location. It's a lot better than just regular ass New York or New Mexico. Like, this is a very good setting for the first half of this movie. What the fuck? Also, I really like this little counter thing that pops up to tell us how many days it's been since Bruce hulked out. It works as a very nice way to show us how much time has passed in between scenes sometimes. This whole first chunk of the movie is actually a lot of fun. Seeing Bruce's routine, how his day works while he's in hiding. We also see that he's communicating with a dude calling himself Mr. Blue, who's helping him look for a cure. After Bruce's little meditation routine, we see his previously mentioned very high-stress work environment. Like, there's no way he's keeping his heart rate down every day in this place. Like, he almost gets into a fight with these guys who are harassing a woman, and this scene is actually pretty hilarious.
Oh, that's not right.
But like, still, why would you work there? This is the most stressful job you could ever pick. And while he's working, he accidentally cuts himself and has to shut down the entire system so he can make sure his bad CGI contaminated blood doesn't get into the soda. And I mean, to be honest, you should do this even if your blood isn't evil, but you know, it's a factory in Brazil, they're probably getting underpaid, what are you gonna do? And Bruce is a dumb idiot person, so he doesn't see this big ass drop of blood in that bottle. Also, what even is this drink? This shit looks fucking disgusting. But then the contaminated Mountain Dew fucking kills Stan Lee and makes General Ross aware of Bruce's whereabouts. And I see people give this guy a lot of hate, but I love William Hurt as General Ross. In every movie he's in. It really fucking sucks that he died before he could become Red Hulk. And I think it's pretty fucked up of Marvel to recast him with Harrison Ford. But when Chadwick Boseman died, they did the respectful thing and ended his character for now. But that's beside the point. It's time to meet the big bad villain of this movie, and this guy fucking sucks. Like, I really like Tim Roth. He's a pretty great actor, and I don't think he's necessarily doing a bad job. His character is just a very, very normal guy. He's just like all the other early Marvel movie villains. He doesn't really have any reasons to do anything. He just wants to be stronger, I guess. And then out of nowhere at the end of the movie, he decides he wants to become a giant monster. Like, he's just evil. In one of his first scenes, he kills a dog. Like, that was so unnecessary. But the villain being bad doesn't make the movie bad. all of the early MCU movies have completely awful villains, and I really like this guy more than Jeff Bridges, Whiplash, or Red Skull, so, you know, honestly, it doesn't matter. And if we're being for real, this guy isn't even really the main villain, General Ross is. But that's beside the point. The military guys are here to get Bruce. After Bruce runs away and Tim Roth kills his dog, we have this really awful chase scene. It's kind of disorienting. I just really hate the use of shaky cam in all movies, to be honest. I think it's really stupid and unnecessary most of the time. Like, just keep the fucking camera still. It's also like a really long chase sequence, but eventually Bruce runs into the guys from earlier and they chase him back to the factory they work at. And even if I hate the chase scene, it doesn't really matter because it immediately transitions into probably the best Hulk scene in any movie. Like, seriously, this scene is so badass. I love the way we don't really see Bruce transform. He just starts fucking like seizing on the ground, and then the guy goes over to kick him, and Bruce fucking chucks him through a room and chucks him through a bunch of walls and shit. And we don't really see this whole thing going down from the Hulk's point of view. This is all from the point of view of the military guys. Like, they're fucking shitting their pants. And it really does stand as the only time in the entire MCU where Hulk is even a little bit scary. He's like chucking big ass tank containers at people, and fucking all the military guys again are shitting their pants. And it's literally the only part of the movie where the Hulk doesn't look like complete shit. After Hulk fucks everything up and escapes, he ends up going to Guatemala, and I don't know if you know your geography, but Bruce was not very close to Guatemala. Also, I think this is a good time to mention that the music in this movie is probably the best in any MCU movie. I'm being serious. I think the main score in this movie is better than the ones in the Avengers movies. Like, it slaps, bro. Listen to this shit. After Bruce's escape, we find out that General Ross has reopened the Super Soldier program, and that's what they were doing when Bruce gave himself the serum. And I'm kinda glad they went with this origin. The original one is a little bit lame. I've been rereading Hulk Grey lately, and while I do love that comic a lot, I just think Hulk's original origin story is a little bit less cool than his Ultimate Universe origin. But who cares? Tim Roth wants to take the Super Soldier Serum so he can reverse his dad bod, and I think it's very funny that after his nasty little medical procedure, he just looks the exact same. Like, if this was made nowadays, they would have had Tim Roth get ripped as fuck for this movie, but they just kinda have him run a little bit faster and do some jumps after he got the serum. Bruce is back in the USA now, and he's staying with this old guy named, Stanley. And to be honest, I don't understand why this wasn't just the Stan Lee cameo. It makes more sense than Stan Lee being just the guy who dies from drinking Hulk's blood. And we don't even really, like, have this guy around for that long. I feel like it would have been kind of cool if this was just Stan Lee. But who cares? It's time to meet the love interest and, Phil. Side note, like I've said, I've been reading Hulk Grey, and I thought it was very funny when I realized Phil from Modern Family is playing Doc Samson. Like, that's just, I don't know why, that's just silly to me. But back on track, I do not like Liv Tyler in this movie. If I'm being honest, I don't like her in any movie, not even Lord of the Rings, and that's one of my favorite movies. She's just so mediocre in everything she's in. She delivers all her lines in this really weird, breathy way, and she doesn't really have anything, like, interesting going on. She just she likes Bruce. Starting to understand why Marvel just kinda threw this character away and made Bruce fall in love with Black Widow. But again, this does not make the movie bad. I don't remember anyone being interested in Natalie Portman in Thor or Pepper Potts. And this next scene is fucking awesome. All the military guys are about to arrest Bruce, but he notices them before they can make their move. And he ends up getting cornered in this overpass thing, and General Ross has them launch tear gas in there with Bruce, that way Betty can see how evil Hulk is. And that is just the most General Ross shit ever. Honestly, I think William Hurt should be in the conversation with J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson for best comic book castings, because he is literally ripped straight out of a comic book. This is General Ross. Maybe it's not to the exact same level as J.K. Simmons, but still, I never hear people talking about William Hurt. And again, it just fucking sucks that this guy died before he could play Red Hulk. It's also very funny that right after the fight, it just like starts raining out of nowhere. Like, the sky was clear 2 seconds ago, there's not even a cloud. Also, you know how I said earlier that Hulk's first appearance in the movie is the only good CGI? Well, I completely lied. This scene has some pretty good CGI. It's not like amazing or anything, but it's not headache inducing like some later scenes. And what I mean by later scenes is the one right after this. Like, him in the rain just looks so much worse for some reason, and it especially looks bad when he's standing next to a real human. Like, ugh, he looks awful. Like, the CGI was perfectly fine 2 seconds ago. Also, in the previous battle, Tim Roth got absolutely fucked up. And it's very funny to me because the whole time he's fighting Hulk, he's like talking mad shit for absolutely no reason.
Remember me? Is that it? Is that all you got?
And then this happens. And this is not just a little scratch in the movie. No, he's actually just like out. Like he's done for. He's dead. I'm just kidding. He's not dead. He's perfectly fine because of the super soldier serum. And this scene has some like really bad ADR. I don't know why it's like this.
See you back on your feet, soldier.
Thank you, sir.
I don't think I noticed it anywhere else in the movie, but like, Jesus Christ, this is one of the worst examples of ADR I've ever seen. His mouth isn't even moving. Also, look at this unnecessary ass scene where Betty tries to get Bruce to wear purple pants. Like, why not just give him purple pants if you're gonna do this? And it's one of those awkward ass moments where they expect people in the theater to laugh, so then when you're watching it at home, you're just sitting in silence for an awkward amount of time. But, hey, I like this movie. It's a good movie. It's an underrated masterpiece, remember? And it's finally time to meet Mr. Blue. And it turns out he's played by, Buster Scruggs. And again, I don't want to complain about this underrated masterpiece, but I do not like this man either. He only exists so he can turn Tim Roth into a giant monster, and then he just turns into the leader and we never see him again. Oh wait, he's in the new Captain America. I don't really remember anything that happened in that movie. Also, Tim Roth's back is, like, turning disgusting now. Ew. Why does he look like this? I don't think they ever even, like, explain it. This is just what's going on here, man. I don't want to look at this anymore. Let's go back to Bruce. Okay, from this point on, the movie actually does get kind of bad. The Thinker is trying to cure Bruce, and this confuses me a little bit because they cure him, and like 5 minutes later, he confidently jumps out of a helicopter knowing that he'll Hulk out in time to, like, save the day. But, like, how did you know that? This guy just told you that you were cured. But who cares? The military guys arrest Bruce, and while he's getting flown to super jail, Tim Roth suddenly decides he wants to become just like the Hulk. And in the comics, the Abomination's backstory is also, like, really fucking lame, but it wasn't this bad. Like, I know you guys didn't have a whole lot to work with, but still, I feel like anything would have been better than this. It would have been better if he just, like, came out of nowhere with no explanation. After he spontaneously decides to become a giant monster, he just kinda lightly hits Buster Scruggs, and then some of Bruce's blood leaks into his head, and we never see him again. So far, this just feels really lazy. If it sounds like I'm skipping on some stuff, I'm really not. I mean, I have throughout this video, but in between the time Tim Roth decides to become Abomination, and him actually becoming Abomination, it's like less than 5 minutes. It happens very fast. I really think the original idea was something different, but it got cut for time. Because look at this line exchange when Bruce is in the helicopter.
One of yours? Oh my god. What have you done?
Like, this seems like the original plan was for General Ross to make the Abomination somehow. And this would actually make a lot more sense. I feel like that's what they've been building to. They've been talking about how he wants to make it into a weapon. Like, I don't know. I feel like all that just... having General Ross make him the Abomination makes more sense than him just 5 minutes before the end. He just decides he wants to become an evil monster. And like I said before, Bruce just jumps out the helicopter to go fight him. And despite the fact that it doesn't make any sense for him to do this, it's actually very cool. But it's made slightly less cool by the fact that Thor Ragnarok exists, because whenever I see this, all I can think about is Mark Ruffalo doing this and just, like, fucking dying. But it's time for the final battle, and, yeah, it looks like shit. Everyone knows this movie looks like shit, and some people like to say, well, the movie came out in 2008, of course the CGI is bad. But Iron Man came out a month before this, and that movie looks amazing. And the Avengers came out only 4 years later, and that is much more grand in scale for CGI. It looks a lot better too. Abomination looks good for like 1 second before they really show him, but once they do show him, he just doesn't look right. Like, why doesn't he have the gills or whatever they are? And he even still saying annoying shit when he's in his monster form.
Give me a real fight.
To be honest, this whole fight is just fucking whack. Like, sometimes there's some cool stuff going on, but most of the time it's just some video game characters slamming into each other. And seriously, they look like video game characters. Just look at this. After that long, headache-inducing fight, Hulk beats Abomination and kind of does like a little Spider-Man moment at the end. Like, you cannot tell me this doesn't look like a scene from The Amazing Spider-Man. And then for some reason, instead of just ending the movie, they cut to General Ross at a bar, and Tony Stark walks in talking about the Avengers. And I feel like this was meant to be a post-credit scene, but at some point they decided it'd be smarter to just not have it a post-credit scene and make it the end. And I think that was a very stupid decision. Holy shit, I just said a lot of bad things about this movie. Before the Tony Stark thing ends, when Bruce is controlling Hulk, it's actually really cool. Like, look at his eyes, they're turning green. Shit, maybe this movie wasn't as good as I remembered. This movie isn't really bad, but, like, the second half is just like so lazy and boring. Just it kind of just goes off the wagon. The worst thing is that like the movie was just kind of ignored afterwards because the bad reception. They literally got rid of the main actor. And honestly, I think this is going to be a hot take, but I do like Mark Ruffalo a tiny bit more. I think Edward Norton looks like a better Bruce Wayne, but purely performance-wise, Mark Ruffalo definitely does a better job. He just adds a nice like some mystery to the character. Yeah, he's really suspicious. I like it. And honestly, even though I kind of just explained why this movie is bad, I still really like it. Who cares if the villains, the love interest, the CGI, the dialogue, and the acting all suck? That doesn't make the movie bad. Right? You know what? I don't care. I don't care. People hate on this movie too much. And let's be honest, all the old Marvel movies suck ass, including Avengers. Yep, I said it. All of them suck ass. All of them suck ass, but not this movie. This movie's perfect. I'm gonna give The Incredible Hulk a 10 out of 10, just because I can. Fuck you.